Hello everyone, this is Aparna Shetty, Assistant Professor, Department of CSE, AG Institute of Engineering. So in the previous video lecture about event handling, we had studied the basics of event handling as well as we had studied the different event classes, right? In this video lecture, we will be studying about the different sources of events as well as we will be studying about the event listener interfaces. Okay, so that will be completing the first chapter in module 5. Okay, so let us begin. So first topic is sources of event. Let us study about the different sources of events. Okay, we have button, checkbox, choice, list, menu item, scroll bar, text components, windows. Okay, so these are the different sources of events. Okay, so button, it generates action events when the button is pressed. Okay, as soon as you press the button, it will generate action event. Next is checkbox. Checkbox generates item events. Okay, it generates item event when the checkbox is selected or deselected. Okay, so if we select or deselect a checkbox, an item event is generated. Next is choice. Generates item event when the choice is changed. Okay, so in the web page, if you change some choice, item event is generated. Next is list. Okay, list generates action event when an item in the list is double clicked. It generates item events when an item is selected or deselected. Okay, so it generates action event when the item is double clicked, and it generates item events when an item is selected or deselected. Next is menu item. Okay, menu item generates action event when a menu item is selected. It generates item event when the checkable menu item is selected or deselected. Okay. Next is the scroll bar. Scroll bar generates adjustment events when the scroll bar is manipulated. So you do any changes to the scroll bar, it will generate adjustment events. Okay. Text components. Text components generate text events when user enters a character. Okay, so if you enter any character, text events are generated. Okay, last type of source is the window. Okay, window generates window events when a window is activated, closed, deactivated, de-iconified, iconified, opened or quit. So you do some changes to the window, a window event is generated. So these are the different sources of events: button, checkbox, choice, list, menu item, scroll bar, text components, and finally windows. Event listener interfaces. Okay, so the next topic is event listener interfaces. So the listeners are created by implementing one or more interfaces defined by the java.awt.event package. So by implementing one or more interfaces defined by the java.awt.event package, the listeners are created or the event listeners are created. Okay, when an event occurs, the event source invokes the appropriate method defined by the listener and provides an event object as its argument. So when an event occurs, the source of the event invokes appropriate method defined by the listener. So when an event occurs, okay, the source will invoke the appropriate method defined by the listener. Okay, and provides the event object as its argument. Okay, so it will pass the event object as argument to that method. So event occurs, the source will invoke the method of the listener. Okay, and to that method it will pass the event object as the argument. Okay, so this is basically about event listeners. Okay. Next, let us see about the different types of event listeners. Okay. As we have gone through the different sources, so these are the different listeners. We have action listener, adjustment listener, component listener, container listener, focus listener, item listener, key listener, as well as we have mouse listener, mouse motion listener, mouse wheel listener, text listener, window focus listener, and finally window listeners. So let us see the description of each one of them. Okay. So first one was action listener. Action listener, it defines one method to receive action events. Okay. Next one is adjustment listener. Adjustment listener defines one method to receive adjustment events. Okay. Component listener, it defines methods to recognize when a component is hidden, moved, resized or shown. Okay, so when you do some changes to the component, a component listener is invoked. Okay, so container listener, it contains methods, okay, when a component is added to or removed from a container. So when this event occurs, the methods will be used to handle that event. Okay, so it contains methods to when a component is added to or removed from a container. Focus listener, it defines methods to recognize when a component gains focus or loses keyboard focus. Okay, focus listener defines method when a component gains or loses keyboard focus. Item listener. Item listener defines one method to recognize when the state of the item changes. Okay, and key listener defines three methods to recognize when a key is pressed, released or typed. So you have three methods when this event occurs. Either key is pressed, released or typed. Okay. The next type of listener is mouse listener. It has methods when the mouse is clicked, enters a component, exits a component, mouse is pressed or released. Okay, or the mouse is dragged. So there are many methods when you do when the mouse events occur. Okay, so the methods are used to recognize mouse events. Mouse motion listener, it defines methods to recognize when the mouse is moved or dragged. Okay, so when these events occur, okay, specifically mouse motion listener has methods to recognize when the mouse is dragged or moved. Okay, mouse wheel listener defines method to recognize when the mouse wheel is moved. Okay, text listener defines one method to recognize when a text value changes. Okay, so it has a method to recognize when a text value changes. Window focus listener defines two methods to recognize when a window gains or loses input focus. So focus listener has methods to recognize just when a window gains or loses input focus. Window listener, finally, it defines 7 methods to recognize when a window is activated, closed, deactivated, de-iconified, iconified, opened or quit. Okay, so each of the event listeners has methods to recognize specific events. Okay, now let us study each of these event listeners in details. Let us go through the methods of each of these event listeners. Okay, first one is the action listener interface. Okay, this interface defines the action performed method. Okay, so action listener interface has this method called as action performed. Okay, it has this action performed method that is invoked when an action event occurs. Okay, and the general form of this method is void action performed, and it will take an action event object as a parameter. Okay, so this is the general form of the method. Action performed, it will take action event as an object. Okay, next type of event listener is the focus listener interface. This interface defines two methods Okay, that is when a component obtains keyboard focus, focus gain method is invoked. Okay, when a component obtains keyboard focus, focus gained method is invoked. When a component loses keyboard focus, focus lost is called. Okay, so when a component loses keyboard focus, focus lost is called. So it has two methods, focus gained and focus gained, okay, as well as focus lost. So these are the two methods in the focus listener interface, when a component gains in keyboard focus and when the component loses keyboard focus. These are the general form of that method, focus gained and focus lost. Both these methods will take focus event object as a parameter. Okay, so this was about focus listener interface. Next type of listener interface is key listener interface. This interface defines three methods. Okay, so key pressed and key released methods are invoked when a key is pressed and released. So in the keyboard, when you press a key, key pressed event occurs. In that case, key pressed method will handle that event. Okay, and when you release that key released event will occur and key released method, okay, will handle that event. Okay, so that was about the two methods. Let us see what is the third method. Key typed method is invoked when a character has been entered. So when you press a key, if you generate some digit or character, then key typed method will be invoked. Okay, pressing and releasing the key, if it generates some character from the keyboard, then key typed method will be invoked. Okay, so that was about key listener interface. If a user presses and releases the A key, okay, suppose if the user presses and releases A, that key, okay, three events are generated. Key pressed event is generated, key typed event is generated, and key released event is generated. So if he presses A, three events occur: key pressed, key typed, and key released. If a user presses and releases home key, now in the keyboard, if you press and release home key, in that case only two key events are generated: key pressed and released. Okay, okay, since pressing home key, it will not generate any character. In that case, only two events are generated: key pressed and key released. The general form of these methods are as shown: key pressed, key released, and key typed. Each of these listeners will take the key event object as a parameter. Okay, so this was about key listener interface. Next, let us see about mouse listener interface. This interface defines 5 methods. Okay, these are the 5 methods: mouse clicked, mouse entered, mouse exited, mouse pressed, and mouse released. So when you click a mouse, when you click a mouse, okay, mouse clicked event will occur and it is handled by this method, mouse clicked. Okay, mouse clicked method will handle it. And when a mouse enters a component, okay, mouse entered event will occur and that event is handled by mouse entered method. When a mouse exits a component, okay, in that case, mouse exit handler will handle the mouse exited event. Okay. Okay, these two methods are in the case of mouse entering and exiting a component. Okay, when mouse is pressed, okay, see, mouse click is different, mouse press is different. Mouse click is you just click and leave it. Mouse press means you hold the mouse for a longer time. Okay, so if the mouse is pressed, in that case, mouse pressed event will occur, okay, which is handled by this listener, that is mouse pressed event listener. After pressing the mouse, when you release the mouse, in that case, mouse released event will occur, which is handled by this interface, that is mouse released. Okay, so these are about the mouse listener interfaces. Next is the mouse motion listener interfaces. So, the mouse motion listener interfaces, we have two methods. One is mouse dragged and one more is mouse moved. Okay, so these are the methods defined in mouse motion listener interfaces to handle mouse dragged and mouse moved events. Okay, both these methods will take the mouse event object as the parameter. The next type of listener interface is the text listener interface. Okay, it defines the text changed method. Okay, that is invoked when a change occurs in a text area or text field. So if you do any changes to the text area or text field, then text change method will be invoked. This is the general form of text changed method. It will take the text event object as a parameter. Okay, so when a change occurs in a text area or text field, text changed event will occur and that event is handled by the text changed method. Okay, the next type of event listener is window focus listener interface. The window focus listener interface has two methods, window gained focus and window lost focus. Okay, so when the two events occur, okay, that is window gains focus or window loses input focus, these two methods will be called. Okay, window gained focus and window lost focus. These are called when a window gains or loses input focus. Okay. This is the general form of these methods. Window gained focus. Okay, it will take the window event object as a parameter. Okay, next method is window lost focus. It will also take the window event object as a parameter. Both these methods will take window event object as a parameter. Okay, so two methods to handle the window events, that is window focus events, whether the window gains or loses input focus. Next type of listener interface is window listener interface. So here we have 7 methods, okay, to handle the different window events. That is window activated, window closed, window closing, window deactivated, window de-iconified, window iconified, and finally window opened. Okay, so 7 events. This method will be called when the window is activated. Okay, this method is called when the window is closed. This method is called when the window is received a command to close and it is about to get closed. Okay, window deactivated will be called when the window has been deactivated. Okay, when the window is de-iconified, this method is called. When the window is iconified, this method has been called. And finally, when the window is opened, this method is called. Each of these methods will take the window event object as the parameter. Okay, so that was about window listener interface. Okay, here let us see this example about handling the mouse events. Okay, so I'll show this program in Eclipse where we are going to handle the different mouse events. Okay, so we have this program. So I'll open it later. So we have I've already defined the code here to handle the mouse events. Here mouse events extends applet. Here applet is used to create small dynamic application, as well as this class mouse events implements the mouse listener interface and mouse motion listener interface. Okay, we have 3 parameters, 3 variables here: message, mouse x and mouse y. Okay, Mouse X and mouse Y will define the coordinates of the mouse. Okay, the X and Y coordinates of the mouse, that is the position of that mouse. We have this init method here. Inside the init method, okay, init method of the applet is used to do any initialization. Okay, so in this init method over here, I am registering the mouse listener interfaces. Okay, so I'm going to register add mouse listener interface and add mouse motion listener. Okay, so I'm going to register the mouse and mouse motion listener interfaces in this init method. Then we have defined several methods like mouse clicked, okay, mouse entered, mouse exited, mouse pressed, mouse released, mouse dragged, mouse moved. Okay, and finally the paint method. So if you see each of these methods, first one is mouse clicked. So whenever you click a mouse, okay, whenever you do that event, when the mouse is being clicked, mouse clicked method will be invoked. Okay, and this method will have this message mouse clicked, and it will call the repaint method. So why we are using the repaint method is that so if you want to call the paint method manually, okay, we will be using the repaint method in the applet. Whenever we are going to call the paint method manually, we will use this repaint method. And why this paint method is used? The paint method is used to display anything on the applet viewer. Okay, in this program we are going to run the applet since mouse event extends applet. I told you in Java we will not go deep into what is an applet and all, that is out of syllabus, but you have to remember in order to create small and dynamic applications we require applet. So here mouse event class extends that applet class. So in the init method we have registered the different event listener interfaces, okay, as well as we have defined the different methods, okay, in these listener interfaces. The different methods are there, no? Mouse clicked, mouse entered, mouse exited, mouse pressed, mouse released, mouse dragged, okay, mouse moved. Okay, different methods we have defined. So in each method, when we call repaint, the repaint will call the paint method. Okay, in this paint method what we are doing is, whatever we want to display in that applet viewer, that in the paint method, that drawstring method, g.drawstring, where G is the object of graphics class, g.drawstring method will display this message as well as the value of mouse X and mouse Y. Okay, so when the mouse is clicked, you just want to display mouse clicked message in the applet viewer in the coordinates x-axis 0 coordinate and y-axis 10. Okay, and when the mouse enters also, you just want to display the message mouse entered in this particular coordinates, x and y coordinates. Okay, and you will call the repainter to display it in the applet viewer. Same way for mouse exited also, you will display this message mouse exited in this particular x and y coordinates, as well as when the mouse is pressed, you will display. You will try to get at which position the mouse is being pressed. Okay, me.getX. Me is a mouse event object. GetX will get the X position of that mouse. Okay, and me.getY will return you the Y coordinates of that mouse. Okay, and the message down. It will print the message down and then it will call the repaint method to display that message. Okay, so let me execute this program. You will understand it better. So when we execute, see here, a new window is created. This is the applet viewer. Okay, now if you see, first method was mouse clicked. See, I click the mouse, it will display mouse clicked at 0 and 10th coordinate. X and 10th coordinate is 0 and 10. Okay, when mouse is entered into the applet viewer, it will display mouse entered at the 0, 10th coordinate. At this position only it will display mouse entered. When the mouse is exited, it will display mouse exited at 0, 10th coordinate. Okay, and next one is mouse pressed. When I press the mouse, okay, in which location I press the mouse, in that location only it will print it down. Okay, so it will try to get the X and Y coordinate. Okay, it will try to get the X and Y coordinate where the mouse is pressed, and then in that X and Y coordinate only it will display down. Okay, similarly, when the mouse is released in that particular location, okay, in that particular location only it will display up. Okay, so that was when the mouse was released. Okay, now when the mouse is dragged, the message is star. Okay, so if I drag the message, it will display star. Okay, and at which location it will display star? Wherever the mouse is being dragged, it will display star. So it will get that coordinate by the get X and get Y of the mouse event object. Okay. Similarly, it will display this moving mouse at. So can you see when the mouse is moving over here, it will display moving mouse at that particular X and Y coordinate it will display. Right? So this was about handling the different mouse events. Okay. Next, let us see one more program to handle the key events. Okay, so I have two classes here. Okay, two classes here to handle the key events. We have different methods here also. Key pressed, key released, key typed. Okay, so different methods are there. Let me execute and show this program to you all. See, applet viewer opens. This is similar to the previous program only, where we have the class simple key which will extend the applet class, and it is going to implement the key listener interface, as well as we have the init methods, and we have implemented the different methods: key pressed, key released, key typed. Okay, and the print method which will display certain messages in the applet viewer. Okay, so here suppose now if I press a key, okay, click on the applet, and if I press the key, see, it will show key down, key up. Okay, so when you press on a key, it will display key down, and when the key is released, it will display key up. Okay, and as well as it will display the character which got displayed, right? So which character it will display? For that, we have this key events class, correct? We have this key event class. This key event class will generate that character. So to display that particular character, we have this key event class. Okay, so, and the simple key will display key pressed and key released, and that character, if it is generating any character, then that character will be displayed by this key event class. Okay, now suppose if I am pressing and releasing the shift key, it will not generate any character. Pressing key up and key down, see, I am just pressing some shift key. So it will just, in that case, it will not generate any character. If pressing and releasing the key, if it has to generate any character, then that character will be generated by the key event class. Okay, so that was about the examples of handling mouse event and handling the key events. Okay, keyboard events. We have seen both this program. So that was about the event handling. I hope you all have understood. If there is any doubts, please ask me in Google Classroom. So thank you.